right now at 11.
Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States.
The Venezuelan president and his wife on American soil after the U.S. struck the Caracas capital and captured them in the middle of the night. Also tonight.
I thought it was never going to happen. So that was the moment when I realized.
Hope mixed with anxiety, the Venezuelan community reacting to what happened. Also tonight, the Pennsylvania senator largely breaking from his own party, what he is saying about the ousted president's capture.
Now, live from your local news source, this is ABC 27 News at 11.
All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night.
That stunning announcement from President Trump coming just hours after explosions rocked the Venezuelan capital of Caracas. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Cecile Flores captured by U.S. forces and flown to New York City as they face federal charges on narco-terrorism. Good evening, I'm Sarah Willson. Thanks for joining us. Maduro is now on U.S. soil, expected to make his first court appearance in the coming days. The indictment alleges a 25-year conspiracy accusing him of flooding the U.S. with cocaine and corrupting his own country. ABC's Lionel Moise has details.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife are now in New York after being captured by U.S. forces, landing earlier today at Stewart Airport in Orange County, New York, escorted off the plane by more than a dozen federal agents. In New York, NYPD blocking off streets as a heavy security motorcade carrying Maduro made its way to the Manhattan Detention Center where he will be processed. President Trump announcing his capture early this morning, posting this picture showing the Venezuelan leader in U.S. custody. According to two sources, the military operation was carried out by the Army's Delta Force after the CIA identified the leader's precise location.
In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night.
The president now saying the U.S. will run Venezuela until there can be a transition of power, and also says he has not ruled out boots on the ground.
Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military troops to provide?
Team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over.
Venezuela's vice president demanding the immediate release of Maduro and his wife, saying Venezuela has a duty to safeguard its sovereignty that has been attacked. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Congress was not notified prior to the mission, saying doing so would have, quote, endangered the mission. On Capitol Hill tonight, at least 4 House Republicans releasing statements criticizing this military operation in Venezuela. Democrat leaders in both the House and Senate are calling for an immediate briefing for the Gang of Eight and a full briefing for all members of Congress next week. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
For many Venezuelan Americans, the capture is welcome news. People in Doral, Florida, which has a large Venezuelan population, were singing and dancing in the streets overnight. In Colombia, as you can see, it is a different story, with protesters taking to the streets denouncing the capture. Harrisburg's Venezuelan community is smaller, but it's full of hope as well as some anxiety about what happens next. Seth Kaplan continues our coverage with that part of the story.
I'm born in Venezuela.
But living in Harrisburg after fleeing first to Spain in 2011, then migrating here in 2019.
I couldn't believe.
Alma got the news first from what you might call a very personal network, her family WhatsApp group.
One of my cousins started reporting what was going on, like a streaming. He explained that the floor started shaking with the detonations, with the bombs. He wasn't sure exactly what was going on.
Couldn't be sure at first who was bombing whom. Under Nicolas Maduro and before him Hugo Chavez, Alma says her family suffered, even though they were among the lucky ones who generally at least had food on their tables.
It doesn't matter if you were a professional, if you went to school or to college for something, and you're still surviving. you're not leaving. You survive in Venezuela unless you have some type of connection with the government. Somebody complains here to be receiving $900 from Social Security for retirement. That doesn't exist there. They receive less than $5 monthly. I was 15 when all this started. So for me, it's like, is this real happening?
So seeing this photo of Maduro in handcuffs,
I thought it was never going to happen. So that was the moment when I realized I'm sorry. It's actually the moment when I realized it's actually real.
on the other hand, she knows the trickiest part might come next.
This transition is going to be tough, not only because of the belief or the political sides, basically because Venezuela is completely destroyed.
What Alma says Venezuela needs now for both inside and outside?
People doing the correct thing and working on behalf of people's benefits and well-being. That's what our country needs right now.
In Harrisburg, Seth Kaplan, ABC 27 News.
The reaction from Harrisburg's Latino Hispanic American Community Center is less optimistic. In a statement, its executive director is saying what happened will only make the humanitarian crisis that already exists in Venezuela worse. Going on to write in part, quote, regardless of the motive, it is inhumane to subject Venezuelan people to the horrific explosions and chaos through the night in its efforts to capture Maduro. Both parties will capitalize on the situation through their political lens. By the way, you can watch Seth's full interview on the CTV app. Pennsylvania's senators also reacting tonight. Republican Dave McCormick writing in part, quote, for years, Maduro's regime killed children by flooding America's streets with poison, threatened our borders, and undermined U.S. national security. And Senator John Fetterman largely breaking away from his fellow Democrats in saying he's grateful for the U.S. military personnel that handled the capture and strikes. He says, quote, I maintain that we have the strongest and most lethal military in the world. Today proves that even more. For the latest on the U.S. and Venezuela, head to abc27.com. Good Morning America will also have complete coverage starting tomorrow morning at 7.